Christopher Bell wins at COTA yesterday, and what a great finish. Pretty solid race, and he goes back to back. Got it at Atlanta last week and got it at COTA this week. 2 wins already for Christopher Bell, and it seems like he's gonna be a problem this year for sure. Probably he ain't done yet. So, yeah, Riley, what do you think about the race?
For COTA, it was not bad. It was probably the best COTA race I've seen. There's no secret about it that it's not my favorite place to watch a race. So Sunday's action was not too bad. Got the race started off watching Chase Elliott get spun out on lap 1, turn 1. That was always, it makes the beginning of the race entertaining when you can watch people like that wreck. Not only because it's fun watching him wreck, but it's also fun seeing if they can come back, just to be a little bit honest with you.
Okay. Just throwing shots.
Which at points of that race, it looked like he wasn't going to be able to.
No.
Because he was running like 36th for a while. But
after stage 1 and they got back going, something else happened to him because he was like 28th. Then he fell back to like 34th, and he was like 30 seconds behind after 2 laps.
That's when I saw it, yeah. I was like,
and I'm like,
he must be still broke or something.
That or he got spun out or
it just never showed it on TV.
Yeah, or had to miss the course, had to stop, but even then, that 30 seconds, that was crazy. I was like, something happened. I just never figured out what it was.
Yeah. So middle of part of the race got a little boring because there's no causes for caution on the track other than the stages until stage 3, right? Or was there one at the end of stage 2?
I
think it was right at the end of stage 2.
It went green the first stage. I think there might have been one in stage 2.
Because the only 2 causes for caution on the track were Denny and Austin, which was the last caution.
Yeah, like 18 to go.
And then it was Swervez and Connor Zilic.
I thought there was another one.
There was a wreck at the end of stage 2, but they didn't throw a caution for it.
Oh, okay.
That was
maybe you're right. It takes a lot to throw a caution at that track because it's a road course. Yeah. Maybe you're right. I thought there might have been one more.
There might have been another one, but I can't think of it.
I can't either.
Yeah, so either way, the middle of that race kind of got a little boring. But once they got into stage 3, things kind of heated up. You had some different strategies playing out, and you had guys that were working their way up through there, had guys falling back. Unfortunately, Shane Van Gisbergen was one of them because I had him to win the race. But, yeah, I mean, overall it was a pretty decent race. Sucks who won, sucks who finished second. But you'll have that on those big jobs every once in a while. But, yeah, it's just
Did you like the finish?
Yeah, I mean, the finish was good.
The finish was great.
Didn't you have the segment for the finish on here?
No.
Oh, I thought so. That's why I was kind of avoiding it. But, yeah,
I don't think so.
The finish was really good. It wasn't Watkins Glen last year, which is, some of the best road course racing you'll see. But it was good enough to keep you intrigued, and you're standing there. Is Willie going to get him? Is the 45 going to get there? Is the 20 going to make a mistake? Is William going to get there and wreck both of them? There's 100 different possibilities that could happen, and there was a couple times where William could have probably forced it a little bit, and he didn't. I think out of respect because those two race each other pretty clean. But yeah, the finish was really good. I think a couple more laps. I know you said you think Chase Elliott would have won. I think the 45 would have won that race if it would have gone.
I don't know. But he was flying.
5 more laps. I just don't think Chase Elliott was close enough. But, yeah, I mean, finish was good. I wish it was different numbers on the side of the car, battling for it like that, because I really don't like Christopher Bell. And that's not for any specific reason. I just just don't like seeing him win. And I do have specific reasons to dislike William Byron, and that's because he has a golden horseshoe stuffed so far up his ass, he's tasting it. So, yeah. But, yeah, pretty decent race, 7 out of 10, like I said on TikTok.
Yeah. I give it a 7 out of 10 as well. The race itself, it was okay until the last 20-something laps. You know, I was interested in Kyle winning, leading, and it looked like I was cheering for Kyle at the end of the race. Just he burnt his tires off so bad trying to hold off Christopher. When Christopher finally got to him, he just kind of fell off a cliff. Once he lost that clean air, he just couldn't do a whole lot to hold off Byron or Reddick, and then he fell way off of them. And Chase Elliott actually got him on the last lap. So, you know, that proves how Kyle tried to wheel that car to a victory, even though it wasn't the best on the long run. We kind of saw that all day, but he did a hell of a job holding Christopher Bell off as long as he did. And then Christopher, he said it kind of, he's just kind of sloppy every lap after he passed Kyle, and it allowed William and Reddick to stay right with him. And I think, to be honest with you, I think William probably passes Bell if Reddick's not right on Byron, because Byron, it ain't like he can just go out there, had no pressure behind him, and kind of just not throw it in there, but kind of be really aggressive in certain areas without, bumping or hitting Bell. He couldn't arc it in certain ways because then he had the 45 breathing down his neck as well. So if you take the 45 out of that equation, I think 24 actually wins that race. Or unless 20 gets a bump and run at the end or something like that, then maybe it would have been Christopher Still. But I think Byron had a better car than Bell. That those last 7-8 laps just couldn't pass him, and it was refreshing to see nobody just go in there and dump somebody on the last corner, because I said this on the TikTok review Bangkok review last night, that if you replace those 3 drivers, maybe other than Tyler Reddick, although Tyler Reddick's not a dirty driver, he just had some questionable moments.
Ask Chris Buescher if he's a dirty driver.
Well, that's just when he had the mustache. Maybe it was the mustache that caused Reddick to drive crazy last year. Remember, he had that mustache for Darlington. But if you replace those 3 drivers with, I don't know, Kyle Larson, Ross Chastain, and who else?
Catherine Legg.
Yeah, her. You'd have a different outcome.
Foreshadowing.
I guarantee you'd have a different outcome. And so it was good to see a clean, great finish between 3 highly talented guys. Christopher Bell.
2 highly talented guys and one guy that's very lucky.
William Byron's a very, very good race car driver.
Yeah, I know. I said that 2 weeks ago, but he's a bitch. So.
Anyways, great race. I loved it. And I don't think Chase would have won in 3 laps, probably not. But he would have called him. He would have probably passed Reddick. Because he passed Kyle at the end of the race, and Kyle was, 3.5 seconds back?
4 but
seconds.
Kyle was dropping like a fucking rock.
But Chase was flying.
Yeah, sure he was, but I'm not saying Chase wasn't fast. I'm just saying
it's a dumb argument because it's not how. I'm just saying Chase Elliott, if that race is, what was it, 65 laps? Or not? No, it was 95. If it was a 100-lap race, Chase Elliott would have been in contention to win that race in 5 laps. He would have called him. I don't know if he would have passed all 3 of them, but he would have called him. And who knows, maybe Byron passes Bell in 2 more laps. I don't know. But it was a great race, great finish. And best race I've seen at COTA. The first race there was decent.
When it was pouring ass?
Not the first race. Well, the first race was great because he won, Chase Elliott. But second race with Ross and AJ and Alex, that crazy finish. Yeah, you put them 3 together and look what you had 3 years ago. You almost had the exact same scenario play out. Now, there was some bumping and running before it got to that last lap where Ross just kind of sent AJ into the fucking netherworld. But, still, 3 different drivers. Most time you'll see what happened 3 years ago compared to yesterday. So that was refreshing to see, and I enjoyed it. So 7 out of 10 for me. The middle of the race, I missed a lot of it because work was kicking my ass.
You didn't miss anything.
I know. I was listening to it, but it was kind of hard to follow what was going on. But yeah, caught the most important part, the finish, and it's a good race. Thank you, Denny Hamlin, for sucking to allow us to have that finish. Because if we don't get that caution where he sends Austin Dillon into the gravel, I don't know if we get that finish.
Yeah, well, the question is, are we going to get any more finishes at COTA?
No, they're going to blow it up.
I don't think they're going to.
World War III will happen before we come back to this track next year.
That is a possibility.
There will be nuclear war, and NASCAR will cease to exist, and we will both be dead. Don't throw me with a good
very
tone.
grim show today. Very grim.
We got to get all our negative points out because they didn't get to have it last week.
That's true.
Trying to double up on everything.
I will say this.
Yes, they will.
I'll be negative and say no. I don't think so. I don't think they're coming back.
Why? Did you like? Hold on. First off, did you like the new configuration?
I was going to say that. Yeah. If they would have done this from the start, which I'm pretty sure, I don't know if you can go back to the first time we ever talked about COTA on this podcast. I don't know if it's on that episode, but I do recall talking about them needing to run a shorter version of this course. And
that was like episode 8.
hell, it may not even have been on the podcast. Might have just been me having a conversation with somebody. But I've talked about it before. And lo and behold, here they go and do it, and it's better. It's still not great. I don't love the S-curve penalty bullshit that they do. If you're going to enforce track limits, I think you got to do them all over the track. So there's no confusion on which turns you can and can't cut.
Yeah, middle of the race, all the teams and drivers were confused. Yeah. Like, they weren't throwing any penalties for guys going way over, and they're like, or can you do that? Or are they just missing it? Or what's going on? And that's never good.
But I think it's one of those things that if they were going to come back, they would have already announced that they're in talks, they're in the works, they're trying to figure it out.
You're taking the Bristol Dirt logic.
Yeah, because that's what happened with Bristol Dirt. We showed up at Bristol Dirt year 1, and they announced before the race even started, hey, we're doing this again next year. Year 2, they said, hey, we're doing this again next year. Year 3, they didn't say that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and say they're probably not going to go. And the reason I think that is, like I said, they're not talking about coming back. And number 2, NASCAR does not own that racetrack. NASCAR has to rent that racetrack from the owners. And they have to, it's a...
Yeah, it's a SMI track.
It's not even... It's owned... I think it's private.
That's right. Because F1 does their...
They have... it's... Whoever owns that track, it's not NASCAR. And they have to go there and rent it. And it's not like a...
I've heard it's an amazing facility.
And they say it is. But they have to get co-promotions and do extra shit to go there. So I think it would be easier for them to race somewhere else. And I
was going to ask you if they get rid of COTA, where they go.
They're going to
do another road course. They go back to Road America.
Yeah, it's going to be another road course. Road America is a good option, which I love that racetrack, but I don't know if they'll go back there. I would really like to see them race at Road Atlanta, which they're not gonna, but I think that would be awesome. Road Atlanta is a phenomenal racetrack, one of my favorite road courses in the country. I would really like
VIR.
Virginia International is a really good track. There's about 47 different layouts they can run there. They have one really, really, really long one, which I wouldn't like them to run. And then they've got a bunch of different, veer-offs from there, which would be a good option.
Well, with speculation of Chicago Street Race,
that one's
going back for next
that one's
year
going
either.
away too. Yeah.
If you lose 2 road courses, do you necessarily replace them with 2 road courses?
Well,
what about the short track? What if they take over North Wilkesboro and put it as a points race and put Rockingham as the All-Star race?
That's what I was about to say. We're forgetting that Rockingham is back in the picture here, so they're going to have
or second date for a track that's only got 1 date.
They're going to have some place to put Rockingham if they're going to do that. And I think what will end up happening is I think the Chicago Street Race is done after this year. I think COTA's done after this year. I think they replace it with another road course, possibly Mexico City, possibly Montreal circuit, Jacques Villeneuve.
That's one of my favorite road courses.
Which is that's a great racetrack as well. But those are options. And then
Mexico City is this year, so that's already in
for the Xfinity guys.
No, it's in the Cup Series too.
They racing it.
Mexico City, yes. In the Cup Series this year, yes. Where the fuck have you been?
Am I fucking retarded?
Yes. Did you not know that?
I think I'm having a stroke.
You must be. When he said that Mexico City might be an option. Bitch, it's an option this year. It ain't an option. It's already happening. They're racing it on like June 6th or something.
Holy fuck.
Dumbass.
How did I not know that? What racetrack did that take?
Richmond.
That's right.
We had this conversation.
I know, and I knew this. All right.
I know who you are.
Canada.
Yeah. Canada's an option. Mexico's it's already in play, baby.
I forgot that.
They all in.
I thought it was just the Xfinity series.
They like Dabo. They all in, baby.
But
Tigers.
Yeah. So yeah, Canada's an option. VIR.
What about Mexico City? They an option?
No, they're not going there. But
that was funny.
that's crazy.
You done?
Well, I'm not wrong very often, so I don't know how to take this.
You're wrong a lot, actually.
I disagree.
Of course you do. But yeah, I
hadn't been wrong once in the picks this year.
Oh, so the guy you picked has won all 3 races?
No, but
all right then,
better
jackass.
than you, jackass.
That's true. Hey, it's all right. Slow starts. We'll turn it up and
Turn it up.
here in the next couple. I think they will come back because listen. I agree with mostly everything you said. They haven't announced anything.
You're always wrong. I agree with everything you just said.
I said mostly. Other than the fact you're forgetting about a fucking Mexico City
About
race.
the whole race.
Yeah, what you gonna do? What if we never had this conversation and Mexico City comes up? You're like, what are you talking about?
They're racing in Mexico this weekend?
That would have been great content, but lost it on that one. The reason why I think they'll come back, we've had, 4 races here? 21, 22, 23, 5 races here. 2 of them have been great finishes. One of them was a shit storm with the rain and had to cut it short. It was a mess, the first race there. 23 was 24 was not good at it either. So you've had one shit race, chaos. You had 2 pretty boring to bad races. You've had 2 pretty good races here. Normally that averages out to, all right, you'll get more dates here. And I think ultimately that's what they'll do. They need to stay in Texas because I think Texas Motor Speedway here soon is very coming. Their reign of NASCAR Cup racing is coming to an end. I don't think they're going to last too much longer. NASCAR knows how bad of a track that is. They moved it out of the playoffs a couple years ago. It's only got 1 date. They're doing it again this year, and I think maybe next year or 2, I think Texas is going to be out of the Cup Series. They might still race in the Xfinity or Truck Series. We'll see. Maybe Trucks, because Trucks and Texas always had a good feel to it. And but I think they need to stay in Texas, and COTA's really the only option as of right now until, let's say, remake Texas again, reconfigure it, and make it to a short track, make it into another Atlanta